Hyunwoo bowed low to the tall crystal being sitting on the throne. The alien's body sparkled like a diamond in the bright lights of the council chamber. Around him, other aliens watched with cold eyes. Some looked like machines made of metal. Others were like clouds of gas floating in clear suits. "Thank you, great lords, for allowing us to mine the rocks in your space," Hyunwoo said in a humble voice. He kept his head down and his hands folded. "We are grateful for this chance to serve." The crystal alien made a sound like breaking glass. This was how they laughed. "You humans are so polite. We are happy to let you dig in the dirt where no one else wants to go. The rocks out there are worthless anyway." Hyunwoo nodded and smiled. Inside, he wanted to punch the arrogant alien in his shiny face. But he had a job to do. For 300 years, humans had been playing this game. They pretended to be weak and stupid while the real work happened far away. The meeting ended after an hour of insults disguised as gifts. Hyunwoo left the Golden Palace and walked to his small ship. As soon as he was alone, he pressed a button on his wrist. A voice spoke in his ear. "Report," said Commander Taemin from somewhere far away. "They still think we're idiots," Hyunwoo said. "The crystal ones are planning to expand into the third sector next year. The metal ones are building new factories. The gas ones are fighting over trade routes. Good. Keep them busy with their own problems. How much time do we need? Dr. So-young says 3 more months for the last ship. Then we'll be ready. Perfect. Get home safe, old friend." Hyunwoo's ship left the alien capital world and jumped into deep space. The journey to human space took 2 days. But Hyunwoo didn't go to Earth. Instead, he flew to what looked like a normal asteroid field near the edge of the solar system. To any alien watching, this was just empty space full of rocks. Mining ships moved between the asteroids, digging out metals and ice. Giant machines processed the materials. Everything looked normal and boring. But if someone looked closer, they would see strange things. The mining ships were too big. The machines worked too fast. And some of the asteroids moved in ways that rocks shouldn't move. Hyunwoo landed his ship inside what looked like a large asteroid. The moment he passed through the fake rock surface, he saw the truth. He was inside a massive space station built into a hollowed-out planetoid. The walls were lined with metal and filled with lights. People in uniform walked through wide corridors. The air hummed with the sound of powerful machines. "Welcome home," said Dr. So-young as she met him at the landing pad. She was a small woman with tired eyes and oil-stained hands. "How did it go?" "Same as always. They think we're pets who dig holes for treats." So-young laughed, but there was no joy in it. "If they only knew what we've been digging." They walked together through the station. Through windows in the walls, Hyunwoo could see the construction areas. Thousands of workers in spacesuits crawled over the inner surface of the planetoid like ants. They were installing massive weapons that could destroy entire fleets, shields that could stop star-killing beams, engines that could move a planet through space faster than most ships. "How many are ready?" Hyunwoo asked. 11 are fully operational. Number 12 will be done in 2 months, just like I promised Taemin. Each one has everything we need to survive and fight. Farms for food, factories for weapons, homes for 50 million people. They reached the command center, a huge room filled with screens and control panels. In the center was a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. 12 dots blinked in different colors around human space. Each dot was a planet-sized warship hidden as an asteroid or dead moon. Commander Taemin stood in front of the map, studying attack routes and defense patterns. He was young for such an important job, but he had trained his whole life for this moment. His family had died in the burning of Tokyo 300 years ago, when the metal aliens had accidentally destroyed Earth's old capital during first contact. "The aliens made a mistake that day," Taemin said without turning around. "They showed us what they could do, but they also showed us that they could be beaten. Every ship has weaknesses. Every shield has limits. Every empire can fall." So-young walked to her workstation and pulled up technical reports. "The quantum tunneling drives are working perfectly. We can move through space without being detected. The mirror shields make us invisible to their sensors. And our weapon—" She smiled for the first time that day. "Our weapons are beyond anything they can imagine." Hyunwoo looked at the screen showing alien fleet movements. The 3 great empires were spread across the galaxy, fighting each other for trade routes and territory. They had ruled space for thousands of years. They thought they would rule for thousands more. "They're so busy fighting each other they never look at us," he said. "We're just the cleanup crew to them." The species that digs up their garbage and says thank you. That's exactly what we want them to think, Taman said. He finally turned around and his eyes were hard as steel. Tomorrow I'm sending the final activation codes to all 12 ships. After that, there's no going back. Are we ready for war? So Young asked. We've been ready for 300 years, Taman replied. The question is, are they ready for us? Outside the hidden station, normal mining continued. Human ships moved rocks and processed metals just like they had for centuries. The aliens watching from their distant world saw nothing unusual. They had no idea that each asteroid contained enough firepower to end civilizations. The greatest deception in galactic history was almost complete. Soon the hunters would become the hunted, the servants would become the masters, and the galaxy would learn what happened when you pushed humanity too far. The countdown had begun. Admiral Junho stood on the bridge of Terra's Fury, watching the alien patrol ships approach. The crystal beings had no idea they were flying toward their deaths. Their ships looked impressive with bright shields and powerful weapons. But compared to what humanity had built, they were like toys. 6 enemy vessels detected, reported Lieutenant Daewon from her sensor station. They're scanning the asteroid field, looking for the source of the quantum disturbances. Let them look, Junho said calmly. They won't find anything until it's too late. The Terra's Fury was hidden inside what looked like a dead moon. To the aliens, it appeared to be just another piece of space rock. They had no idea that the moon was actually a weapon of incredible power. Inside its rocky shell were cities, factories, and enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Sir, they're getting closer, Daewon said. Should we move away? No, today they learned the truth. Junho pressed a button on his command chair. All across the bridge, red lights began flashing. An alarm sounded throughout the massive ship. After 300 years of hiding, it was time to reveal what humanity had become. All stations, this is Admiral Junho. Operation Daybreak is now active. Repeat, Operation Daybreak is active. Show them what we really are. The rocky surface of the fake moon began to crack and fall away. Underneath was gleaming metal and crystal technology that made alien science look primitive. Massive gun barrels emerged from hidden ports. Shield generators came online with a hum that could be felt through the entire ship. On the alien patrol ships, alarm bells began ringing. Their sensors were going crazy as they detected energy readings that shouldn't exist. The human mining colony they had come to investigate was suddenly showing power levels higher than their own capital ships. This is impossible, said the crystal alien commander on his bridge. Humans don't have this technology. They can barely build space elevators. His weapons officer was staring at his screen in shock. Sir, I'm reading 12 massive energy signatures throughout this system. All of them are. They're bigger than our dreadnoughts. The crystal commander felt fear for the first time in his long life. Send a message to the Dominion fleet. Tell them we need immediate backup. Something is very wrong here, but it was too late for messages. Junho had given the order to fire. The main gun of Terra's Fury charged up with a sound like thunder. The weapon was built using technology stolen from all 3 alien empires and improved by human engineering. When it fired, space itself seemed to tear apart. The beam hit the lead alien ship and simply erased it from existence. There was no explosion, no debris. One moment the ship was there, the next moment it was gone. The other 5 ships tried to run, but they were too slow. Within minutes, the entire alien patrol was destroyed. Junho watched the last ship disappear and felt no satisfaction. This was just the beginning. Open a channel to Earth, he ordered. On Earth, President Minna was standing before the United Earth Congress. The large chamber was filled with representatives from every nation and colony. For months they had been preparing for this moment. Citizens of Earth, Minna began, her voice carrying to billions of people across the planet. Today we reveal a secret that has been kept for 3 centuries. We are not the weak species the aliens believe us to be. She gestured to the large screen behind her. It showed images of the 12 planet-sized warships hidden throughout human space. Each one was a technological marvel that combined the best of human engineering with stolen alien technology. Since the burning of Tokyo, we have been planning for this day. While the aliens thought we were mining asteroids, we were building the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Each of these ships can support 50 million people and has enough weapons to fight entire empires. The Congress chamber erupted in cheers and applause. Many representatives were crying with joy and relief. For 300 years, humanity had lived under the boot of alien oppression. They had been treated like children, given scraps and told to be grateful for the privilege of serving their betters. The alien empires believe they rule the galaxy, Minna continued. They believe they will rule forever. Today we prove them wrong. In space around Earth, something amazing was happening. What had looked like space debris and old satellites suddenly came to life. Hidden weapon systems revealed themselves. Defense platforms that had been disguised as asteroids began moving into position. Captain Young-Soo was monitoring alien communications from his ship near the outer planets. His job was to listen to enemy radio signals and learn their plans. What he was hearing now made him smile. The collective is panicking, he reported to Earth Command. Their gas cloud scouts are reporting massive human ships appearing throughout the galaxy. The hegemony machines are trying to calculate our actual fleet strength and failing. The Dominion crystals are calling emergency council meetings. On the alien capital world of Nexus Prime, the three Empire leaders were meeting in crisis session. The Crystal Emperor, the Metal Central Processor, and the Gas Swarm Queen gathered around a holographic display showing human space. How is this possible? The Emperor demanded. Our intelligence said humans were barely capable of interstellar flight. The Central Processor's mechanical voice was filled with confusion. Analysis shows human technology exceeds our own in multiple areas. Probability of successful deception for 3 centuries. Less than 0.01%. The Swarm Queen's gaseous form swirled with agitation. We have been fooled. The mining operations, the humble diplomats, the simple colonies, it was all a lie. Back on Terra's Fury, Engineer Da-Yun was explaining the ship's capabilities to new crew members. Many of them had lived their entire lives believing they were second-class citizens in an alien-dominated galaxy. This ship is completely self-sufficient, she said, as they walked through the massive corridors. We have farms that can feed 50 million people, factories that can build anything we need, schools, hospitals, entertainment centers, everything required for a complete civilization. They stopped at an observation deck that looked out into space. Through the transparent metal windows, they could see other human ships moving into battle formations. Each one was the size of a small moon and bristled with weapons. But we're not just a city in space, Da-Yun continued. We're also the most powerful weapon ever built. Our main guns can crack planets. Our shields can stop supernovas. Our engines can move us anywhere in the galaxy in days instead of months. One of the new crew members, a young man named Wu Jin, raised his hand. Why did we wait so long? If we had this power, why did we let them treat us like slaves? Da-Yun smiled sadly. Because we only get one chance to surprise them. If we had revealed ourselves too early, they would have united against us. Now they're too shocked and scattered to mount a proper defense. The truth was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire. Human settlements that had seemed weak and defenseless suddenly revealed hidden weapons. Asteroid mines turned out to be military bases. Transport ships dropped their disguises and showed their true nature as warships. The three alien empires that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years were about to learn what happened when they pushed the wrong species too far. The age of human servitude was ending. The age of human dominance was about to begin. Fleet Admiral Su Jin watched the tactical display as 12 massive dots moved across the star map. Each dot represented a planet-sized warship appearing from its hiding place. For 300 years they had waited in silence. Now it was time to strike. All ships report ready for combat operations, announced Captain Dong Hyun from the communication station. Terra's Fury, New Seoul, Rising Sun, and all others are in position. Begin Phase 1, Su Jin ordered. Target their military bases first. We want to end this war quickly. Across the galaxy, human warships emerged from stealth like sleeping giants awakening. They had been hidden as asteroids, dead moons, and space debris. Now their true forms were revealed, and the aliens finally understood the scope of their mistake. Commander Wu Jin stood on the bridge of the warship Defiance as it approached the Crystal Aliens' home system. Through the main view screen he could see their capital world, a massive planet made entirely of living crystal that sparkled like a jewel in space. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the planet, reported his communications officer. Put it through. The image of a tall crystal being appeared on the screen. This was the Dominion Emperor, ruler of 1,000 crystal worlds. His voice was like the sound of breaking glass filled with anger and fear. Humans. You will stop this madness immediately. We demand to know how you acquired such technology. Wu Jin smiled coldly. Your Majesty, let me answer your question with a story. 300 years ago, your ships came to Earth. You said you wanted to be friends. Then you demonstrated your power by destroying Tokyo and killing 10 million people. You called it an accident. The Emperor's crystal face showed no emotion, but his light dimmed slightly. That was a regrettable incident, but it taught you to respect our superior technology. It taught us something, all right, Wu Jin agreed. It taught us that you could be beaten. Every ship that destroyed Tokyo had weaknesses. Every weapon had limits. Every shield could be broken. We spent 300 years learning how to break them. Impossible. Our technology is thousands of years more advanced than yours. Was more advanced, Wu Jin corrected. You see, while you were busy being superior, we were busy being smart. Every crashed ship we found, we studied. Every piece of alien technology we could get our hands on, we improved. And most importantly, we learned patience. The transmission screen showed the Emperor turning to look at something off camera, probably his military advisors telling him about the human fleet surrounding his world. What do you want? The Emperor asked finally. Surrender, Wu Jin said simply. You have 1 hour to evacuate your military bases and prepare for occupation. Refuse and we will demonstrate what happens when you push humanity too far. The transmission ended. Wu Jin turned to his weapons officer. Lieutenant Hyrin, prepare the planet cracker. If they don't surrender, we'll give them a demonstration they'll never forget. Dr. Hyrin looked up from her control panel with concern. Sir, there are billions of civilians on that planet. The planet cracker will kill them all. No, it won't, Wu Jin said. Watch and learn. 1 hour passed. The crystal aliens refused to surrender. Their emperor sent a message saying that the Dominion would never bow to primitive apes. Their fleets were moving to defend the capital, confident in their superior numbers and technology. Fire, Wu Jin ordered. The planet cracker weapon charged up with a sound like rolling thunder. When it fired, the beam didn't destroy the crystal world. Instead, it did something much more terrifying. It reached into the planet's core and changed the quantum structure of the crystal matrix that held the world together. The planet began to crack apart, but not randomly. The cracks formed precise patterns that avoided all major cities and population centers. Within minutes, the single crystal world had been broken into thousands of smaller crystal islands floating in space, each one still supporting life. How? The Emperor's voice came through on an emergency channel. How did you do that?
We told you, Wu Jin replied.
We learned patience and precision. Your people are alive, but your planet is broken. Your military bases are destroyed, but your cities remain. This is human mercy, Your Majesty. Next time, we might not be so kind. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. Captain Dong Hyun commanded Earth's defense against the machine hegemony's counterattack. 1,000 metal warships had jumped into the solar system, intent on destroying humanity's homeworld before the humans could complete their conquest. Sir, enemy fleet approaching Earth, his tactical officer reported. They're ignoring our warnings to withdraw. Show them why they should have listened, Dong Hyun said. What the machine aliens didn't know was that Earth itself had been turned into a fortress over the past 3 centuries. What looked like space debris around the planet was actually a network of weapons platforms more advanced than anything in alien space. When the hegemony fleet opened fire on Earth, they expected to see the planet's surface burn. Instead, their weapons struck shields that appeared from nowhere, turning space around Earth into a glowing sphere of protective energy. Impossible, transmitted the machine fleet commander. No planetary shield can stop our full fleet bombardment. You're right, Dong Hyun replied. No planetary shield can. Good thing we didn't build a planetary shield. The truth was revealed as the defensive network came fully online. Earth wasn't protected by shields mounted on the planet. The entire solar system had been turned into one massive shield generator, with the sun itself providing the power. We built a Dyson sphere, Dong Hyun explained as the machine ships tried frantically to retreat, not just around the sun but throughout the entire system. Every piece of space debris, every asteroid, every comet, they're all part of the defense network. The counterattack that was supposed to cripple humanity instead became a demonstration of human engineering superiority. The machine fleet was destroyed without causing a single human casualty. Their advanced weapons were simply absorbed and redirected back at them. Meanwhile, General Kyung-ho was coordinating the assault on the gas aliens' territory. The collective had always been the most mysterious of the 3 empires. existing as clouds of intelligent gas that could phase through solid matter. "Sir, enemy forces are refusing to engage," reported his science officer. "They're using their phase abilities to avoid our weapons." "Then we'll have to get creative," Kyung-ho said. "Deploy the quantum scanners." The gas aliens' greatest advantage was their ability to exist in multiple dimensions at once. They could become solid when they wanted to use tools, or become gaseous when they wanted to avoid attacks. It had made them nearly impossible to fight for thousands of years, but humanity had found a solution. Instead of targeting their physical forms, the human weapons targeted their quantum signatures, the unique energy patterns that made each gas being an individual consciousness. "Sir, it's working," the weapons officer announced. "We're hitting them even when they're phased." The gas aliens had never experienced anything like it. Their phase abilities, which had protected them for millennia, were useless against weapons that could follow them through dimensions. Within hours, all three alien empires were in full retreat. Their most advanced fleets had been destroyed or captured. Their homeworlds were occupied or broken. The galactic order that had existed for thousands of years crumbled in a single day. On the command ship New Seoul, Fleet Admiral Soo-jin received surrender requests from a dozen alien species. Minor empires that had served the Big Three were now desperate to join the winning side. "Sir," reported Captain HFY, "we're getting communications from over 50 star systems. They want to surrender before we attack them." Soo-jin looked at the strategic display. The war that the aliens thought would last decades had ended in less than 24 hours. The species that had ruled the galaxy through fear now trembled before the power of humanity. "Send a message to all alien forces," Soo-jin ordered. "The war's over. Lay down your weapons and prepare for the new order. The age of human rule has begun." The great council chamber on Nexus Prime had never been so quiet. For 3,000 years, this golden hall had echoed with the voices of alien emperors, making decisions that affected billions of lives across the galaxy. Now it stood empty except for a few maintenance workers cleaning up the debris left by fleeing dignitaries. Diplomat HFY walked slowly through the abandoned chamber, her footsteps echoing in the vast space. Just a week ago, this had been the center of galactic power. The Crystal Dominion, the Machine Hegemony, and the Gas Collective had ruled from here, dividing the galaxy between them like pieces of a game board. "Ma'am," called out Lieutenant Jin Woo from behind her, "we're receiving another surrender request. This time it's the Spiral Arm Coalition. They're offering to turn over their entire fleet." HFY sighed. "That's the 15th one today. Put them on the list with the others. We'll get to them when we can." She couldn't blame them for wanting to surrender quickly. The alternative was facing the human fleet in battle, and that had not gone well for anyone so far. The three great empires had learned that lesson the hard way. The Crystal Aliens' homeworld was now a field of floating islands, their military might broken but their people alive. The Machine Empire's core worlds had been shut down by computer viruses that made their own technology turn against them. The gas aliens found their phase abilities useless against weapons that could target them in any dimension. "Any word from General Kyung-ho?" HFY asked. "Yes, ma'am. The siege of the Collective's capital is going smoothly. Their gas clouds are trying to negotiate, but the general says they're still making demands like they have a choice in the matter." HFY shook her head. Even in defeat, some aliens couldn't accept that their time as rulers was over. They had spent so long being superior that they couldn't imagine being anything else. The real surprise was how quickly the smaller alien nations had abandoned their former masters. Species that had served the Big Three empires for thousands of years suddenly discovered they had always wanted to be independent. They were sending messages to humanity, offering trade deals and military cooperation. "Ma'am, incoming transmission from the human fleet," Jin Woo announced. "It's General Kyung-ho." The hologram of the general appeared in the center of the chamber. He looked tired but satisfied. Behind him, HFY could see the bridge of his command ship as it orbited one of the gas aliens' capital worlds. "HFY, good to see you," Kyung-ho said. "I have news from the front lines. The last collective stronghold just surrendered. Their swarm queen wants to negotiate the terms of their defeat." "What are they offering?" "Everything. Complete surrender of their military forces, access to all their technology, reparations for 3 centuries of treating humans like servants. They're even offering to relocate their core populations away from strategic worlds." Acha wasn't surprised. The gas aliens had always been the most practical of the three empires. Once they realized they couldn't win, they would try to make the best deal possible. What about the others? The Machine Emperor is still claiming this is all a temporary setback. He thinks his factories can build enough ships to fight back. Admiral Sang-woo is letting him believe that while we quietly take control of his supply lines. And the Crystal Empire? Kyung-ho's expression darkened. The Emperor is dead, killed by his own people when they found out he was planning to use a planet-killer weapon on human civilian colonies. The new Crystal leadership is much more cooperative. The speed of the collapse was stunning. Empires that had existed for millennia were crumbling in days. The social order that had seemed eternal was revealed to be as fragile as glass when faced with superior force. Sir, Jinwoo interrupted. Priority message from Earth, Governor. Jiwoo is requesting immediate consultation. The hologram shifted to show Jiwoo in the former Emperor's office on Nexus Prime. She had been appointed to govern the former galactic capital, a job that came with enormous responsibility and very little guidance. Acha, we have a problem, Jiwoo said without preamble. The alien civilians are starting to panic. They don't know what to expect from human rule. Some are trying to flee to the outer rim, others are hoarding food and supplies. What kind of panic are we talking about? They think we're going to enslave them or eat them or worse. 3,000 years of propaganda about human primitiveness has convinced them that we're barely above animals. Now that we've proven we're more advanced than they are, they don't know what to think. This was the problem nobody had fully considered during the war planning. It was one thing to defeat alien military forces. It was another thing entirely to govern trillions of alien civilians who had been taught to fear and despise humanity. What do you recommend? Acha asked. We need to start a massive public relations campaign. Show them that we're not monsters. Demonstrate that human rule will be fair and just, maybe even better than what they had before. General Kyung-ho's image nodded in agreement. The gas aliens I'm dealing with keep asking about human eating habits. They seem to think we want to consume their energy forms. I had to show them our agricultural ships to convince them we grow our own food. It would have been funny if it weren't so serious. The same aliens who had treated humans like barely intelligent animals were now terrified that humans would treat them the same way. I have an idea, Acha said. What if we started with the children? Explain, Jiwoo said. Set up educational programs. Bring alien children to human ships and colonies. Let them see how we really live. Children learn faster than adults and they don't have as many fixed ideas about what humans are supposed to be like. That could work, Kyung-ho agreed. My science officers have been working with some young gas aliens who were captured during the battle. They're amazed by human technology and very curious about human culture, much more open-minded than their elders. The plan began to take shape. Instead of ruling through fear like the old empires had done, humanity would rule through example. They would show the galaxy that human civilization was not just more powerful than alien civilization, but also more fair and more free. What about the former empire leaders? Jinwoo asked. The ones still alive, anyway. Acha considered this. The temptation was to execute them or lock them away forever. They had enslaved humanity for 3 centuries and treated humans like disposable tools. Justice demanded punishment, but revenge would not build a stable galactic government. House arrest, she decided. Comfortable but secure. Let them write their memoirs and think about what they did wrong. Maybe some of them will even help us understand how to govern their former subjects. That's very generous, Kyung-ho said. More generous than they deserve. Maybe, but we're not them. We don't rule through terror and oppression. If we want to build something better than what came before, we have to start by being better than they were. Admiral Sang-woo's voice joined the conversation from his flagship. Final report from the Outer Rim. The last holdout systems have surrendered. Every major military force in the galaxy is now under human control or has been destroyed. The numbers were staggering. In less than 2 weeks, humanity had gone from a minor species confined to the galactic rim to the dominant power in known space. 12 planet-sized warships and careful planning had accomplished what most species would have thought impossible. What's our next move? Jiwoo asked. Acha looked around the empty council chamber one more time. Soon it would be filled again, but this time with humans and cooperative aliens working together to build a new kind of galactic government. We start building, she said. The hard part isn't winning the war. The hard part is winning the peace. The age of alien dominance was over. The age of human responsibility had begun. Chancellor Yunji stood at the observation deck of New Geneva Station, watching ships from 100 different worlds dock at the massive space habitat. 6 months ago, these aliens would never have dreamed of bowing to human authority. Now they came seeking trade agreements, technology transfers, and protection under the new galactic government. The station itself was a marvel of human engineering that made alien architecture look primitive by comparison. Built in just 4 months after the war's end, it housed 50 million beings from dozens of species. The crystal aliens marveled at its structural integrity. The machine beings studied its automated systems with something like envy. The gas creatures floated through its atmospheric zones in wonder. "Ma'am," called Secretary Inho as he approached with his daily reports. "The morning briefings are ready. We have updates from all 12 sector, fleets and requests from 47 new systems wanting to join the Terran Protectorate." Yunji turned away from the window and walked with him toward the central government complex. The corridors were filled with a mixture of humans and aliens, all working together in ways that would have been impossible under the old regime. "Any problems I should know about?" "Minor ones. The former Crystal territories are having some labor disputes, but nothing serious. A few machine worlds are still trying to negotiate for autonomous status, and the gas aliens want to establish a cultural exchange program with our universities." It was remarkable how quickly things had settled into routine. The galaxy-spanning war that everyone expected to last for years had ended in weeks. The social upheaval that should have taken decades was happening in months. They passed a group of young aliens clustered around a human teacher who was explaining quantum physics. The students included crystal children whose bodies sparkled with curiosity, machine youth whose optical sensors glowed with interest, and gas beings whose clouds swirled with excitement. "The education programs are working better than we hoped," Inho observed. "These kids are learning human science faster than their parents learned alien science." "Children are adaptable," Yunji agreed. "They don't have 3,000 years of prejudice to overcome." Dr. Inho's office was located in the technology sector, where the most sensitive work of the new government took place. The challenge wasn't just governing former enemies, it was deciding how much human technology to share with them. "The uplift programs are proceeding on schedule," Dr. Inho reported as they reviewed the daily progress charts. "We're sharing basic medical technology, improved agriculture, and clean energy systems. Nothing military, of course, but enough to improve their quality of life." The decision to help rather than exploit their former oppressors had been controversial among some humans. Many people thought the aliens deserved to suffer for 3 centuries of treating humanity like servants, but the new government had chosen a different path. Any resistance to the technology transfers? Less than expected. Most alien scientists are eager to learn. They're starting to understand that human technology isn't just more advanced. It's based on completely different principles than theirs. This was the real revolution. For thousands of years, galactic technology had stagnated under the rule of the 3 empires. Each species had developed along rigid lines, never learning from others. Human technology was different because it combined the best ideas from all sources and improved them. "Speaking of technology," Inho continued, "Admiral Sumin has requested permission to begin the deep space exploration program." Yunji nodded. The 12 planet-sized warships that had won the war now served as exploration vessels, pushing the boundaries of known space. If there were other threats out there, species more advanced than the former galactic empires, humanity wanted to find them before they found humanity. Approved. But remind the Admiral to be careful. We know there are other galaxies out there, and some of them might have noticed our little revolution. The communication system chimed with an incoming priority message. The holographic image of Admiral Sumin appeared, transmitted from her flagship at the edge of explored space. "Chancellor, we've made contact with a new species at the galactic rim. They call themselves the Builders, and they seem impressed by what we've accomplished." "Impressed how?" "They've been watching the galaxy for thousands of years, waiting for someone to overthrow the old empires. Apparently, they've been through this cycle before in other galaxies. Old civilizations become corrupt and stagnant. Then young species rise up to replace them." This was interesting news. The humans had assumed they were unique, but apparently galactic revolutions were more common than they thought. "What do they want?" "To teach us. They say humanity shows promise, but we're still thinking too small. They want to share knowledge about technologies we haven't even imagined yet." Yunji felt a chill of excitement and fear. Human technology was already far beyond anything the old empires had possessed. The idea of learning even more advanced techniques was both thrilling and terrifying. Set up formal diplomatic contact, but proceed carefully. We've learned not to trust species that claim to be friendly. The transmission ended and Yunji returned to her daily routine of governing a galaxy. It was strange how normal it had become, making decisions that affected trillions of lives, mediating disputes between species that had been enemies for millennia, planning the future of galactic civilization. Historian Seung Woo was working in the archives deep inside the station, documenting the greatest transformation in galactic history. His job was to record everything so future generations would understand how the old order had fallen and the new one had risen. The key to understanding the human victory, he dictated to his recording system, was patience. For 300 years, humanity endured insults, exploitation, and oppression while secretly preparing for the day when they could strike back. He paused to review footage from the war. Alien fleets being destroyed by weapons they couldn't understand. Empires that had ruled for millennia collapsing in days. The shock on alien faces when they realized they had been deceived for centuries. The aliens made the classic mistake of confusing compliance with weakness. They saw humans following orders and assumed humans were incapable of giving orders. They saw humans working in mines and factories and assumed humans were only good for manual labor. The irony was that the aliens had been partially right about early humanity. 300 years ago, humans really had been technologically inferior. But unlike the aliens, humans had never stopped learning and growing. The real lesson of the human revolution is that underestimating your opponents is a fatal error. The crystal aliens thought their technology was perfect. The machine beings believed their logic was flawless. The gas creatures assumed their abilities were unique. All of them forgot that intelligence and determination can overcome any advantage. Seungwoo's final entry would become required reading in schools throughout human space. To future generations who will inherit the galaxy we built, remember that power is temporary but responsibility is eternal. The aliens who oppressed us believed they would rule forever. They were wrong. Someday, perhaps other species will challenge human dominance. When that day comes, remember how we won this galaxy. Not through cruelty or oppression, but through patience, preparation, and the determination to build something better than what came before. As the day cycle ended on New Geneva Station, beings from dozens of worlds went to sleep under human protection. Crystal children dreamed of human science lessons. Machine workers planned improvements to human designs. Gas philosophers pondered human concepts of freedom and justice. In the deepest vaults of the station, the 12 planet-sized warships' command systems maintained their silent watch. Their weapons were powered down but ready. Their shields were inactive but functional. They had won humanity's greatest victory, and now they stood guard over humanity's greatest responsibility. The galaxy had learned what happened when you pushed humanity too far. Now it was learning what happened when you gave humanity a chance to lead. In his private quarters, Chancellor Yunji reviewed the day's reports one final time before sleep. Applications for Protectorate membership from 17 new systems. Research breakthroughs from the joint human-alien science teams. Cultural exchange programs that were building friendships between former enemies. The hardest part wasn't winning the war, she reflected. The hardest part was winning the peace. But humanity was succeeding at that too, one day at a time. The age of human dominance had begun not with conquest, but with construction. Not with destruction, but with hope. And in the depths of space, beyond the edge of the galaxy, other civilizations watched and wondered if their time of testing would come next.